Hey guys, how are you all? Hope so you all are doing well. Okay, so let's start the story without any further conversation. I don't know what's happening with me, the mess I am creating right now, but I will leave that. Mrs. Park, you wake up or I call Yoongi. Jimin, what is the problem, Mom? You don't even let me sleep peacefully. Go and call that I'm tired from him. He get with Nona and go from here forever. Jimin say and roll his eyes. Mrs. Park, Jimin, see your tone. This is how you talk about your brother. Jimin, he is not my brother. He is just a for me. I don't know how she spent life with him. Ria, again you both stars, she said while coming in the living room as she is going university. Jimin, Nana, I don't do anything. I am just sleeping. And mom come and she um, she called that I mean Yoongi Ria Jimin. He is elder than you. Call him with respect, Jimin. Not again, Nana. Here I am I'm trying to sleep. Why you are sleeping in the couch? Jimin, I am on couch. Jimin realized. Mrs. Park, this is what I am. I am trying to say, Jimin, go in your room and sleep there. Jimin, okay. Jimin smiled nervously and Mrs. Park both sighed. I don't understand what I do with you. Jimin, you are too much. Jimin, hey, sorry, Nana. I just woke up. Mrs. Park. Why you Yoongi so much? He's your cousin. You guys is together from childhood. Still all this. Jimin, mom, I him so much. Don't ask me why I am so much. He always stop me whenever I try to do something. And whenever. He stop you, he do. Right, Jimin, maybe that was that was right, but I just he think he can he can do whatever he want. Mrs. Spark went silent and Jimin continued to sleep. Jimin, you don't know how much I am happy after this. And Nona, he go London, huh? Hope so. He stayed there forever. You go with him, Nana. Ria also went silent. Jimin, why you are not saying anything? It's not like the gum. Jimin turned his stumble and fell on the couch as he see Yoongi stand there, saying him with his Ria and Mrs. Park looking down, try not to laugh to see Jimin. Jimin become he himself. No, he speak too much. Jimin, Yoongi, Yoong, you are here, Yoongi. Hmm. His Yoongi, you were saying something. Yoongi voices and called Jimin. Gulp, Jimin, yeah, I'm saying the we Yoongi what the speak properly. Jimin, I am calling you. I am saying the weather is so good today. Yoongi gave Jimin. Jimin and Jimin feel himself is so he gulp and look away. Yoongi learned some manners. You don't know how to talk about your elders. This is what you are learning from your school. Yoongi he again started. Jimin murmured to himself, Yoongi, I will you. So if I see you once again speaking, this like Yoongi say and go upstairs in his bedroom. Jimin, I will set for him by the way. Bedroom and Ria start laughing. Jimin just okay. What he think of himself? Me in front of everyone now. See what I do. Jimin murmured to himself and go from there with a pouch. Mrs. Park, Yoongi, Do right, Jimin. Will from someone in this house. Yeah, that's true. She go in university and Mrs. Park in the kitchen. Jimin come in. Jimin come in the kitchen. He don't go school today. He's 17 years old and Yoongi is 27. Jimin see his mom and Mrs. Min is talking while making lunch. Jimin can see Mrs. Min make Yoongi food as because of going Yoongi maintain his diet. Jimin go and beg Mrs. Min. Mrs. Min, oh Jimin son, you want something? Jimin, can you make mango juice for me? Mrs. Min, sure my son. Mrs. Park, make by yourself. Mrs. Min, it's okay, I make. She turned to other side and start to make juice for Jimin. Jimin, mama, I think dad is calling you. Go and I think dad is calling you. Go and check. Mrs. Park nodded and she go. Spoon off and then place. Mrs. Min turn and see him. Jimin smile nervously. Mrs. Min, something happens, son. Jimin, no, auntie, my juice. Mrs. Min, here is your juice. Jimin, thanks. He take the glass and go from there. Everyone is in. Everyone is in the dining room about to do lunch. Jimin come and sit on the dining table. Yoongi, you don't go school today. Jimin, yeah, Yoongi, you start to skip your school too much. Your exams is near. Focus on your studies. Jimin see Yoongi with and Mr. Park. Yoongi is saying, right, Jimin? Focus on your studies, Jimin. I will, Dad. Jimin, Yoongi, and Taeyang. Don't, my brother. Jimin, and focus on your meal. Taeyang roll his eyes, and Jimin, when he see Yoongi take up from his food, Yoongi and she hurriedly take water. Mrs. Min, what happened, son? You okay? Jimin feeling so Jimin feeling relieved to see this, and he start to eat properly, peacefully. Yoongi, yeah, I'm fine. Yoongi say, and he take another to think maybe he have, but he extremely and water again. Mrs. Park, you okay, son? Yoongi, yeah, I am fine. Jimin, eat. Yoongi, auntie, make for you specially today. Jimin say with a smile, and Yoongi him glare. As Yoongi understand, Jimin must do something. Yoongi, why you add salt in this? Yoongi speak and stand up. Everyone look at Mrs. Park. What happens, Yoongi? He add extremely in my food, Yoongi. Jimin, I don't do anything. Yoongi, you don't do. Okay. Your Yumi is literally too much sometimes. Do this. Jimin, I don't do anything. Yoongi, oh really? Go and call, he said to Taeyang, who nodded and run in kitchen. After some time, chef come. Yoongi eye him. If you don't tell me the truth in 2 minutes. Eyes widen. No, no, sir. Please don't do this. I have. How can I? Them Yoongi eyes is on Jimin. Jimin, fine. I accept it. I add salt in his food. Jimin say in low voice, and Yoongi sign the hook go, being thankful to Jimin. Mrs. Park, Jimin, why you do this? Jimin remains silent. Mr. Park, I don't expect this from you. When you leave all this, Jimin, I'm sorry, Dad. I don't do this again. Okay. Don't you? After what you did, Yoongi went toward him, hold his arm. Jimin and Yoongi, you are getting in my. You deserve this. Jimin, what? No, Yoongi and you is you make lunch for me right now. Jimin, what? No way. I don't know how to do cooking. Yoongi, that's not my concern. Go. Yoongi voices so and we go in the kitchen. And we go in the kitchen. Everyone's signed to see this and start to and some start laughing. Yoongi sign and sit on the chair. He's feeling so right now. Jimin the food as usual. After almost 4 hours, he come out from the kitchen as Yoongi give permission as everyone as and Jimin is so Jimin you see what I do now. Jimin murmured while walking in the hallway. Taeyang stop. Jimin stop. He turned and see Taeyang. Jimin, you make me. Taeyang, why you did this? You know well he don't eat anything except his food. Jimin, that's why I do this. He me. So in morning and now also he so I take my Taeyang. I am telling you. Taeyang, please Jimin, don't do this now. You know Hyung well, Jimin. What? I am not scared. I am from your brother. You just wait and watch what I do. Jimin, hmm, to think this. And Taeyang sign. Taeyang, don't do this. If you become over, you know well he, and who knows what he do. Jimin, I don't care about that. I really. Taeyang, okay, okay, now calm down. Let's go and eat ice cream. Jimin become happy and nodded. Taeyang smile and they go. They both go. कल ice time. Hmm. The elders is the elders is in the living room thinking about Yoongi and Via, which is after some days as the preparations is done. Only the shopping is left. Jimin and Taeyang sit on the corner watching reels when they heard Yoongi. Yoongi, Jimin, Park, Jimin, where are you? Taeyang, what you do? Now, Jimin, just see. Jimin stand up, being all innocent. Yoongi come in the living room. He went toward Jimin and hold his arm. Mrs. Min, tell me what happened, son. Yoongi, you are asking me? What happened, mom? Ask him what he do. Mrs. Park, what you do now, Jimin? Jimin, I don't do anything. Jimin said in hmm. Oh, okay. Let's see. Low voice being innocent. Yoongi auntie, mom, he he color my he color my black favorite scar into pink and yellow. He say and Taeyang starts laughing, but he control himself when he see Yoongi how much Yoongi is right now. The others is also start laughing, making Yoongi more. Yoongi, you are laughing. He do a big thing, and you all is laughing. Mrs. Park, Jimin, why you do this? Jimin, he me and to stay in kitchen for her whole 4 hours. Yoongi, you see what I do now. in the Mrs. Min yoongi. Don't do this. Jimin feel Mrs. Park. He much what he do is not a small thing. Having Mrs. Min become as she don't know what she do. She know her son well. Miss Yoongi come back. He have a key in his hands. Yoongi make sure no one open the door till. Alright, it's going to be finished soon. Time is time is passing, everything is fine. But how much the things remains okay. Today is Yoongi and Ria, and everyone gets to know Ria from the Mr. Min. We need to do something. It's about our. We see Ria later, Mrs. Park. We don't have any option. Expect to do Yoongi and Jimin. Jimin, what? No way. I don't do anything, Mr. Park. Stay silent, Jimin. You do as we said, Jimin. What? No. He is 10 years older than me, Mrs. Park. That doesn't matter, you Yoongi. It means you too. Tiang, what I am saying. How it happens, Jimin Tiang. I am telling you, I myself stop them, Tiang. Jimin, no, no, run. We can't do anything here. Jimin, that's my she. They are me with that. Mrs. Park, come, Jimin. She hid Jimin's face and Jimin's eyes widened. Jimin, you guys are not doing right with me. Mrs. Park, stay silent and come. She hold Jimin's hand and make Jimin stand in front of Yoongi. Jimin see Yoongi, who's looking at him with cold eyes. Jimin gulp. He about to go when Yoongi holds his hand. Yoongi don't create any. Yoongi voices so that Jimin nodded. Park, Jimin, did you accept Min Yoongi as your Jimin? Huh, I do. Jimin said make a pouch. Father. Min Yoongi, did you accept Park Jimin as your I am feeling sleepy. And someone checks to come. Yoongi, I do. You both may now. Jimin eyes widen. Jimin, I am telling you, stay away, Yoongi. And Jimin is also shocked, but Jimin have to believe. Alright, so I am not in mood to do voiceover, but still I am doing as I don't have any option. Time skip. After every Jimin come in, come in the room. He see the room is and Jimin look around the room. This is the place he and the most, and now he have to hear just why Jimin signed to see the room. Jimin look. Oh my God, you have to behave. Okay. Yoongi come in the room. He the door. Jimin turn and see him. Yoongi, so you finally here? Jimin girl. Jimin, listen. I don't do anything. It's Nona who on you, not me. Okay. Yoongi, that's not the thing. The real thing is we are eyebrow. Jimin, yeah, you don't me to do. What happens? Yoongi could speak. Yoongi could speak, but he stopped. He looked at him. Yoongi, first of all, tell me how you know what happens on. Jimin eyes widened to hear Jimin. Everyone know. Yoongi, no, no one know. And tell me how you got all this information when you are only 17. Jimin, I just know this is for knowledge. Yoongi, really, this is what you study in school. Jimin, listen, Mr. Min. Yoongi, no need to be so okay. It's so important. Jungin mind, I thought I will the one who his innocence, but his innocence is already. Jungi, I don't expect this from you. I don't expect this from you, hmm, but, but, you know everything. So why now I even cares? Jimin, what? No way. What? No way, you can't do this. Jimin take his uh oye Jimin take phone de phone. Ah. Jimin take his step toward him and his son. Him Yoongi stay silent. Yoongi say and Jimin becomes silent. Jimin go up to see Yoongi. Yoongi and when Jimin no, I will but I don't let you do this Yoongi and oh my. Jimin eyes widened to hear Jimin no. Yoongi yes. Yoongi. Alright, so this is a twist. Hope so you all like. Let's see what happens. Yoongi do what he said or he leave Jimin. Well, I myself don't know what happened next. So we will see